Big Safe.
Fat Man Scoop, Brooklyn Clan. What's up, y'all? This is Fat Man Scoop. And right now, you watching the sensei, the number one, the king, my dude, Big Brando. He taught me, personally, me, Fat Man Scoop. All you gotta do is keep your mouth closed and your ears open. Listen to the man talk. That's knowledge personified right there. And I wouldn't trust nobody else but my dude, Big Brando. And I said it. Fat Man Scoop, Big Brando. Let's go.
What's happening, everybody? Boy Big Brando, and today let's talk about where do you pull inspiration from. Now, inspiration and motivation to me go hand in hand. There's a lot of things that inspire me, there's a lot of things that motivate me, but I know everybody kind of falls into that little funk where you're not inspired, you're not motivated. Creatively, there's a block somewhere, whether it's creating content, creating t-shirt designs, formulating marketing plans. Sometimes we get caught up in the business side of things and we forget about the creative part of things. And when we try to jump back into the creative, we fall into that little funk. So that's why I wanted to know where people find their inspiration, where do they find their motivation. Leave it in the comments and let me know. For myself, a lot of times I'll find inspiration and motivation from watching content. Not necessarily YouTube. I rarely watch any YouTube content creators, especially in the t-shirt space. There's a lot of people out there, but at the same exact time, I'm not looking for information about too much stuff at the moment, so I rarely watch any YouTube t-shirt content creators. They're all cool, they're all dope. I just personally haven't been watching anybody and keeping up with a lot of people. But what I do is I'll scroll through Instagram Reels or TikTok, then I'll see some content creators on there making short form content, and that kind of stuff inspires me. To me, I like watching not just smaller channels, but I like watching people's journey. So there's a chick that's on TikTok. I can't remember her name. I want to say it's like Nedi, maybe N-E-D-I. I can't remember exactly her name, but she starts almost every TikTok video with, this is what a 20-something-year-old content creator does in San Diego or wherever she's from, I can't remember, and then kind of goes through the day, which is really, really dope. She has a bunch of dope artwork hanging up. I don't know if she does it herself or if she buys it, but that kind of stuff's cool. There's guys like Neko Prints, that's dope. A&N Customs, the homie Nick, the homie from the art department. There's stuff that I just watch and I'll see, and I get inspired by that person's journey, or I get inspired by that person's hunger to get ahead, whether it's making content, whether it's making t-shirts. Seeing that kind of stuff and seeing that type of growth is dope. Like there's a podcast that I found through TikTok. I think it's called like the Family Podcast or the Family Mart. It's like 3 Filipino dudes just chopping it up. I think they're all related, so it's just like them hanging out talking, which is interesting in itself because they all do different things. Like one dude does clothing, the other dude makes music, and there's another dude that makes music also. I think the dynamic is dope. The way they vibe is dope. Maybe it's because they're family, but the chemistry is really cool on camera. So that kind of stuff I found just through watching TikTok and scrolling past one of their little clips, and I was like, damn, these dudes are kind of funny. Let me watch their videos. And I don't even know if the podcast is something crazy or how long it's been going on. I only jumped on maybe like a month or two ago, but if it wasn't for the short form content, I probably would have never found their YouTube channel. Seeing that kind of growth and seeing that kind of dedication and also seeing that kind of hunger coming out of anybody is inspiring and motivational to myself. I'm not in the podcast space, but seeing them grow inspires myself, which is really dope. But there's a lot of people that'll watch like Gary Vee and some of these other inspirational, motivational entrepreneurs and stuff like that. That's where you get your motivation from. Dope, because Gary's short form and long form content is packed with gems. The one thing for myself is when I watch his content and consume his content, I always have to pull apart the pieces that mean something to me and the pieces that don't pertain to me just yet. When I say that is because a lot of times when he's speaking at these events and he's speaking to a big crowd, a lot of times he's addressing big corporations and not necessarily the small guy. But there is information packed in there for the small guy, the small business, the small channel, the small content creator. There's a lot of information that can be very useful to the small guy. But you have to know how to pick apart some of the things he's saying for the big corporations and make it make sense for yourself. There's times where Gary's like, man, Instagram ads are underpriced or something like that. And for a small guy, you're thinking underpriced as like, man, throw $5 at these ads or something. But when he's talking underpriced, he's talking about in the thousands, somebody with a marketing budget, and comparing them to an actual TV commercial. It's underpriced in that sense. But for the small guy, it's not really underpriced because we don't have marketing budgets, right? Is it beneficial? Yeah, the information that he's sharing is very beneficial to a business. Sometimes that kind of stuff just doesn't make sense to myself if I don't have the budget to throw at something like that. And I'm not saying he's wrong, but I'm just saying sometimes I need to really decipher what he's saying and apply it to the small guy and the small guy's business, because I get fired up when he's talking about ads and creating content and doing all this stuff, and he's talking to these big corporations and these other businesses, and he's laying out the plan for them, answering all the questions. Then I get fired up, and I'm like, man, how does it make sense for myself? How does this apply to me and my business now? Then I sit down and have to unpack everything, because it's very easy to get fired up watching some Gary Vee videos, man. Especially when you catch those small clips on TikTok or Instagram Reels, and it's a quick little 20-second, 30-second clip of him going in on somebody, or him actually saying, man, you got to get out here and do it. That should be firing me up. But for myself, a lot of it comes from seeing somebody else's journey and me feeding off of somebody else's hunger. Sounds crazy, but when I see somebody else getting after it, makes me say, all right, quit being lazy. You need to get after this too. Keeping that hunger, keeping that fire lit just enough to when you catch a quick little spark, boom, you're off and running. You know what I mean? So if I see my homeboys, Odyssey Rock, my homie Raw Tune, my homie Dave from Local, my homie Edwin out in Texas, if I see anybody creating a bunch of stuff and they start posting a lot of their videos on progress that they're working on and stuff that they're working on, and we start texting each other stuff we're working on, that fires me up, because I know my homie's working. I need to get my ass up and start working. One of my homies, Noah, who's a dope artist, sells prints. You guys see me post his prints on my Instagram all the time. I got prints right here that I'm gonna be hanging up. Whenever I see his work in progress stuff, like, man, I need to get going. I need to get on my job now. Whenever I see Odyssey Rock banging out his warm-ups, drawing, creating stuff, that stuff fires me up. My brother Jeremy that does my tattoos, when I see him post work in progress, or the homie Bong post anything that he's working on, that fires me up. This is where I draw my inspiration from, is seeing my peers hungry for more. That's what inspires me. That's what motivates me. That's what gets me going. I think of it like if we're in a little canoe and everybody's paddling, right? All my homies are in there. We're all paddling at the same time. If I start to slack off and I'm not paddling on beat no more, now the boat starts to slow down, right? Because my paddles are off. I'm not paddling as hard as them, as fast as them. So I feel I got to carry my weight. And when I see them post stuff, or when they share stuff with me that they're working on, that's when I'm like, all right, cool, I need to get on my job. I'm slowing the boat down. I need to get back in here. This is where my brain goes. So if I see somebody on TikTok getting after it, fires me up, like, yo, you need to get on your job now. You need to get going, get to work. Inspiration and motivation, that kind of stuff comes from everywhere. You could pull it from music, you could pull it from movies, you could pull it from nature. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. But for myself, I feed off of somebody else's hunger. If I see somebody else hungry, I'm hungry with that person. If we both in the mud getting after it, we're both crawling through the mud. Because there's a lot of people that hit me up and like, man, your videos are inspirational, your videos are motivate me to do this, this, and this. If that's what my videos do for you, perfect. As long as I can help somebody get creative, inspire their growth, keep creating, keep winning, and keep achieving whatever goals you got set for yourself, then I'm doing my job. Just know that a lot of these other channels and a lot of these other content creators is what I draw my inspiration from. And I'm not just saying just the small channels, but I feel a little bit more amped up when I watch these smaller channels with smaller followings, banging out content, sharing their journey. That kind of stuff, to me, lights the fire. 'Cause I'm thinking like, man, if these guys trying to win, they're actually getting after it. That's what I need to do. That's why I want a lot of these smaller channels to grow. I feel like a lot of these smaller channels are providing the best information to anybody out there. A lot of people just look at somebody's following and say, man, does this person have X amount of thousands of followers? Then I'll believe them, or then I'll watch them. But if you took the time and watched channels of all sizes, you'll understand that there's a big benefit in seeing somebody else's journey, because somebody might share the same struggles that you do, and they're putting it on camera and working through those struggles live on camera for you. So let me know, where do you find your inspiration and your motivation? And also, some of the TikTok and Instagrams and YouTube channels that I just talked about, give them a follow, check them out. Like I said, art department the homie Nick from A&N Customs, Neko Prints, and the homegrown, I think it's Nedi, N-E-D-I, maybe it's like N-E-D-I_. She's on TikTok. Those videos are pretty dope, and I know there's a lot of work that gets put into them. And the other homies, that podcast with the Filipino dudes, I think it's Family Pod or Family Market Pod or something like that. Those guys are dope. And if you follow any of them or if you like their content, let them know in the comments that Big Brando sent you. They probably don't know who I am. If they do or they don't, as long as they know that they got somebody like myself in their corner rooting for them, you know what I mean? If you got any questions, leave it in the comments, but I also want you guys to let me know what inspires you and motivates you in the comments. Follow me on Instagram, Big Brando TV. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.